So a buddy of mine asked me if I can create a 3D like mounting cover or some sort for the Ultrasync One, and I've been doing it for a little bit, but I never owned it until now. The actual timecode device. A lot of prototypes I've made, it didn't really work out. Some of it like made it bulkier, so I was trying to keep it minimal, and having to be able to put a 1/4 screw thread in it. The design I've created, I think it's gonna be like the best solution. Since I have the actual device now, I can actually test it, see if it works. And I myself am gonna want one. Apparently Atomos, that they create like the little sleeve you put this in with a 1/4 screw in it. Apparently it's very bad. So you know, he didn't want to risk that. It's probably like 20-30 bucks. So and I might as well use it too. And also, if you saw my last video, I made for the time code, I have an Ultrasync blue for my F2s. So these are pretty close to same dimensions, and I think I'll need one for this too if I want to mount on my camera or anything like that. So let's get to it. So the print came out and it looks like this. It's pretty small still, so I don't think it's gonna take up that much space. Tinkercad specifically can't create like rounded corners, so it's just pretty straight. I might in the future use a different software, learn how to use it and create rounded corners, so it's just kind of not so spiky. But so far I think this is pretty good print. It's very thin because I just wanted to print real quick, not waste that much material. But so it does fit, Ultrasync One, and it fits real tight, which is nice. And that's exactly what I wanted. I didn't want it to be loose, and the material the Ultrasync One has is kind of a rubbery type material, so like it reduces the not reduce friction, but there's quite a bit of friction on it. You know, not that much, but like I think on certain surfaces like plastic, like I think it does well, and it's real tight. So like I think the design is actually kind of squeezing it in a little more, so which is I guess a good thing. And we have the lips here on each end and the back here. But earlier when I put this in, it was, like I said, it's really tight and I couldn't take it out. Like it was flush too, so I had to like use a cable to plug in this side and just kind of pull it out. So I think I'm gonna redesign this a little bit, where I have an opening at the end here, maybe a little bit thicker or so, and so we could actually like push it out with our fingers. Alright, the print is just finished. I went with green again just so like I don't really waste any PLA or any PETG, just to make sure it's strong. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert the nut in and insert my Ultrasync One, and it's extra tight now because there's more filling. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. We'll see. I left the gap open like I said here, and oh my god, it's really tight. It cannot go anywhere. So let's use something to push it out if we can. Oh man, I might have to make it a little bit spacious. Oh. Oh yeah, I need to make this wider for sure. So I'm gonna redo the 3D layout, and I think the whole thing needs to go a little bit wider because it's kind of bending a little bit. It's kind of hard to see probably. Let's get your focus in that. It's hard to see, but it's kind of bending on the sides and the walls. So hopefully I can make it strong, because I think the wall needs to be a little bit thicker just for structure reasonings. But I'm gonna cut the camera and try to take this out. Oh my god. So it's been a few days now, and I just had to wait a little bit more because like I was getting frustrated with like what was happening, right? So I increased the infill of that print, and I literally had to destroy it because like it was just extremely super tight when I went in, and the only way for me to get my timecode unit out was to destroy the mount itself. So if you can see here, it's all destroyed. It is terrible. So I was like, okay, I'll make it a little bit bigger, right? But you know, these measurements a little bit can be a lot. So here's a new measurement, and it was too loose. It could slip out super easily, and we don't want that to happen, right? So we want friction to be the one component to help this out. So I actually spent like a day or two thinking about it, and I was like, you know, the measurements I do, it's gonna be tight regardless. So I think I just need a better way to take this unit out once it's in. So I thought, I don't need the full back, right? So what I did was I deleted, if you can see here, this back side here. So this is the back, here's the front. So I deleted the top part here, so I could actually have my hand go through, actually have more like leverage, more force. And it's back to the original strength, tightness. So if I put this in, it goes in, and it stays. Right, it stays, which is great. And I can actually take it out again with my hands. So, bam, I can take it out. And it works great. Now, one thing is, I don't know if you can see here, you see a little black line there. This is scratching the walls quite a bit of the unit, and this is getting scratched a little bit. So in my opinion, the most low profile way of setting things up. So let's go ahead and put the 1/4-20 nut in here, and put my timecode Ultrasync One in. So I have a 1/4-20 on the bottom here now. We'll grab like a magic arm and just put it in. Now we have a mounting device for our Ultrasync One. And I tested it with the Ultrasync Blue as well, and it fits as well. So everything's all good. So that is the final product. I'm gonna print it in PETG, and that material is a little bit flexible. So I think it might work a little bit better. And then we'll show that results afterwards. Okay, welcome to the next day again. I printed a PETG, it came out last night, and I took it out the bed, and it actually like ripped the bottom part off that connected to the bed. It's not that clean looking, right? I think I'll still use it, for me probably, because it's still usable, right? Like that bottom part, it's not that important in this context. But I printed it again and made sure I like took it off properly, because I just kind of like yanked it off. Not yanked it, but I just peeled it off, and that's probably what happened. But I don't know, I changed my slicer settings for this next print, and this came out clean this time, but there's stringing on it, so I'm gonna get rid of the stringing, and I think it'll look perfect. And I think this is gonna work perfectly, because on this one I tested it with the Ultrasync One, and it actually fits very nicely, and it's actually less tight than PLA. I think it's gonna works better. Like I know PETG, like the material is a little bit better. People like that more for stuff like this, especially. So I think this is gonna be the final form, right? And I think it's great. Like I feel like less resistance when I put in the Ultrasync One, and I feel like I can take it out easier. Obviously I have, you know, the little thumb space here in the back that I can take it out of. So yeah, let's fire up the lighter and get rid of the stringing on the other one. let's have some final words here. I officially have 2 in my hands. A third one has been printed. It's sitting on the side here, waiting to be cooled down before I take it off the bed. But I'm gonna be cycling through printing several of these, depending how much my buddy wants. So it's just kind of run probably, you know, overnight basically. So we'll have a few, and I think I am gonna toss away the ugly one. It is a little ugly, and when you slide it through it, I feel like it's gonna scratch it up a bit, you know. It just doesn't look pretty, so it's a worthy sacrifice to learn how to print PETG, so I think it's fine. This has been a pretty long process. He asked me if I can design something a long time ago. I literally forgot how long ago. It might have been in the fall of 2020. And I just haven't gotten around to it. I think it's way before that actually. So maybe 8-9 months, maybe, I don't know, I forget. But it's been a long process, and the design has gone from a strange looking design to wild and wacky looking design to pretty slim and I think honestly pretty efficient design. It still does scratch the walls a little bit, but you know, that's to be expected if you want to use friction to hold the device. I do hope you've enjoyed this journey I've gone through. It's been quite a weird journey. I've done a lot of 3D printing stuff, but then this one was more of a challenge. Even though it's a simple design, I was trying to make sure it was strong and it was like PETG printable, and I did not want any supports at all because that's just like waste of material in my opinion. But overall, we'll see what happens in the future. The design might, you know, change a little bit. There might be another mounting point or whatever. I might make one that's like 3/8/16 thread because, you know, people like to use 3/8. So we'll see if I evolve the actual design.